Opie is doing his live stream. This is just the other morning because you can see there's a lot of smoke outside, very smoky in New York City, very bad air quality. Thanks a lot, Cardiff Electric. I blame Cardiff for this.
Yeah.
You know, he claims he has a VPN and he's in Minnesota, but I'm not buying it anymore. I'm starting to think that guy's in Canada.
He does have a lot of irons in the fire. It would make sense if he was
It
involved
would make
somehow.
sense, yes. And he has a lot of time on his hands, too, somehow. Both things happening at the same time. So Opie gets asked a question from Nicholas Gurr. We know whose side that guy's on. And I just want you, I don't know if I'm just going to let this play. I might. It's about Steel Toe. But listen how Opie just gets revved up. And it's not like he's going back and forth with someone. This is just him revving himself up more and more and more over just a single question.
In the smoke content, Aldo says, Jesus, Aldo.
Why is that funny?
Yeah. Wow.
Loving the smoke content. He's like,
You edgelord.
Okay. All right, up. Good stuff. Let's move on.
Steel Toe said it was distasteful of you to put a pickup of the Sheik after he pissed himself. Steel Toe is a whiny little baby.
So let me put some context around this. Basically, the Iron Sheik just passed away. I couldn't believe he was still alive. I had no idea. But the Iron Sheik just passed away. And so what Opie did is he tweeted out, "Rest in peace," with the famous photo of them at the Opie and Anthony show in the studio where he had pissed himself during the show. And Opie's pointing at his crotch that's all wet.
I don't see anything wrong with that, to be honest with you.
I don't care about it either.
Yeah.
Honestly, I mean, the Iron Sheik's hilarious, but he was a buffoon. And, Aaron, I watched Aaron's take on this, and Aaron's like, well, if you're trying to be funny. But if you're trying to say, if you're eulogizing the guy, then don't use that. I'm like, I don't care, man, whatever.
There was a moment on the show that,
yeah.
If you think of the Iron Sheik and Opie, that's the moment you think of, I guess.
Of course.
So it makes sense that Opie would tweet that.
Of course.
He claims to be an Opie and Anthony fan. He obviously isn't an Opie and Anthony fan. He has no idea of the history of the picture. He's just a guy trying too hard that doesn't have much to talk about, so he has to find things people are doing and attack them.
Hold on. All right.
Opie, jeez, remember your condition.
I wasn't going to pause it, but Jesus Christ, he's already gone to 100, which is nuts. I mean, he just revved up quick. Yeah. And the fact that he's calling people out for not having anything to talk about, you're literally responding to Nicholas Gurr, who didn't even super chat you. Just put a chat in. He's like, this guy has nothing to talk about. He's like, no, he's talking about a tweet you put out, which is interesting. I mean, if you think you're still relevant, Opie, we do. Yeah. So, I think that's something to talk about. And Opie's just taking the wrong angle because his show he has nothing to talk about.
Right.
Yeah, this is where Opie gets in a weird position, too. Because even when I agree with you, Opie. I'm on your side on this one, goddammit. Right. And yet, I know that Opie's at some point going to go to the fence that, like, I don't even pay attention to this guy. He's meaningless to me, whatever.
Oh, yeah. I get brought up here now, too. Even though I have nothing to do with this.
Clearly, he knows who you guys are. He knows you. He knows Steel Toe. Obviously, you guys are on his radar. So he's going to get so twisted up where he's like, they're nothing. And that's why I'm so angry.
Yeah, I don't know what even brought me up. All right, yeah, let's watch the rest of this. This is like a 3-minute rant.
Steel Toe is a loser. And for the people that don't know, and most of you don't, he's a live streamer that just has a lame-ass audience. He's not talking to anybody. I'm not talking to that many people, but I had my run in the big time, and he's a guy that'll never have his run in the actual big time. He's trying way too hard. He's talking about a picture of me, Anthony, Jim Norton, with the Iron Sheik. We're taking a group picture. We all noticed that he had an accident in front of his pants. We were shock jocks doing crazy-ass stuff. So I pointed just as they were taking the picture down at the spot, and it turned out to be an incredibly legendary picture that the Opie and Anthony community, real Opie and Anthony fans, appreciated and loved. Some say it's one of the greatest moments in Opie and Anthony history, even though it wasn't on the air.
Some say.
Yeah.
Some say I'm legendary for it.
Yeah.
Okay.
People are torn over this.
And then a little backstory to the picture. The Iron Sheik didn't give two craps about the picture, Steel Toe, you loser. God, these little live streamers, they're just losers. They're just pathetic losers that literally can't turn on a mic and just talk about stuff. If they're not beating up somebody and basically stealing the Opie and Anthony Jocktober bit, they have nothing else to do with their live streams.
Again, he's taking a lot of time to beat up Steel Toe.
I know.
Somebody doesn't give a fuck about. Yeah.
Almost everything he said is a projection. He's not talking to anyone. He goes, he's trying too hard. Like, why is that a bad thing?
Yeah.
Look at this asshole. He's trying to get content to talk about.
And it's weird because, again, Opie is losing me with his dumb logic because I'm on his side. I'm starting out on his side again where it's like, I mentioned this on my show the other day where, like, I think Aaron and some of these other guys, they get into these little, like, sniping arguments where they're like, you only have 450 live viewers and I have 600 live viewers. I'm like, none of these are numbers you guys should be bragging about necessarily. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for Opie to then be like, I mean, I pretty much do the same numbers, but he's nothing. He's worthless. It's like, why are you doing this, Opie?
I'll give Mike David Red Bar credit. I was watching a clip of him, and he's paying attention to all this stuff. He doesn't really talk about it a lot on his show, but he's paying attention, and he'll say things like, there's all these channels that have a couple thousand subscribers. They all think they're in show business. They're all yelling at each other as if any of this matters or is important. And I'm like, yeah, I know. It's insane that any of these people think that they're a big deal or that anyone's paying attention to this. They're not.
Right. It's weird where we now live in a world where there's so many shows like this, and I'm probably guilty of it too, even though I don't talk about my numbers in that way. But, like, I used to think Red Bar was the guy that, like, would dwell on things too much and take things in a direction I didn't love. Now I think he's handling it like maybe the best of all these people.
I don't know because his show's gone for hours. And I only see the clips, and I'm not Scars Club.
Yeah, right.
And from when we did review his show a couple of years ago, it just did not move. He just hangs on a clip forever, and I'm like, all right, this is. So I don't know. I don't know. Maybe he's gotten better with that, but I found him to be kind of boring.
Yeah.
The way they did things. Now, keep in mind what we're watching here. Opie hasn't even seen this tweet. This could be made up.
Right.
Right? The guy just goes, hey, Steel Toe said he did appreciate this tweet you put out. And this is how fired up Opie is about this. Like, I think it's more than just this tweet. I think there's more to this than just critiquing his Iron Sheik. There's a lot going on here.
Anyway, the Iron Sheik then saw the picture because he continued to come into our show after that. Signed a bunch of them and had a good laugh about the whole damn thing and had no issue. So if he didn't have an issue, then you shouldn't either. Go find real stuff to talk about. God, they're just little like mosquitoes. You're trying to have a barbecue and you got these. You got WATP, just a mosquito, not doing anything with their careers. Then you got Steel Toe. They'll never have a career like I had. Never. Oh, God. Did he really say that? That's like so pathetic. And you call yourself an old Opie and Anthony fan? Get the hell out of here.
Now, this whole thing where he's like, we don't even have a career. No offense to producer Chris, but he's not Anthony Cumia. So, I mean, if I had lucked out and met up with Anthony Cumia, then yes, I would also have a giant platform and a great career. This idea that Opie loves to take credit for where he ended up in life is insane. He should just be so grateful that he stumbled upon these amazing shows that he had with a huge audience, because he really did not deserve it, which is being proven every day on his live stream. The only time his live stream is funny is when Cardiff's on it. What does that tell you?
And Corn Diff and the others.
Yeah. Holy shit.
Well, can I speculate? It's funny you bring up Anthony, because my speculation as to why Opie is so mad at this erroneous tweet is that am I wrong? Has Steel Toe had Anthony Cumia on his program? Is that the case?
They did, yeah. And Steel Toe is on Compound Media.
Well, I suspect we may have diagnosed the issue then.
Yeah. I mean, Anthony's been on my show too, and that's, I think, when we started getting on Opie's radar a little bit, and he started acknowledging us by name. It's when that
you guys are
happens.
mean to Opie and not mean enough to Anthony.
Right. And I don't even think I played the clip on here, but Opie was just yelling about that the other day, where I'm doing it wrong because I'm not making fun of Anthony as well.
Yeah.
And this idea that, like, well, Anthony does a show, Opie.
Yeah.
You do a live stream where you freak out because somebody said something. And then you yell at them for all the things that you're doing, talking to no one, not having topics, not having anything to talk about. This idea is like, find something to talk about. Dude, you talk about fucking doggy, not shitting that morning. Like, that's content?
Yeah, this is a Chad-like argument. This is like a Chad-like argument. Like, Anthony does a show, I do a show.
Right.
Why aren't we the same?
Right, yeah, I know. Carlos should be making fun of him, too. It's like, well, no, I enjoy his show.
Right.
It's good.
Yeah. Right, that's the issue. Because like I'll look at Anthony's Twitter sometimes, and he gets like a really into the race stuff where I'm like, Jesus, Anthony, what are you doing?
Yeah.
But then if I go to find like clips to make fun of Anthony's, I'm like, oh, he's a funny guy. I forget. He's a hilarious man that would be harder to make fun of than Opie. That's what Opie doesn't realize is that he's very easy to mock, which is why so many people do it. Right.
Kevin Brennan is not a fan of Anthony Cumia. They have had a falling out. Right. Kevin worked for Anthony, I think, a couple of different times on Compound. And when I was most recently on Kevin's show, we were talking about Anthony. Even Kevin's going, he's one of the funniest guys I've ever met. He's just always on. He makes me second guess myself. He's so funny. So it's like we all recognize the talent there. And yeah, we can obviously complain about the race stuff, but that's not. Also, I don't do a show where I'm going to sit here and analyze how racist someone is. That's not funny. That's not a lot of fun.